Hey, good morning and welcome to Mornings with Mike. It's Monday morning and I hope your day is started off absolutely fantastic. So this morning, each morning, I come in Monday mornings. We share normally a verse from the Bible. I'm actually going to share kind of a story and some narrative from this morning. So I hope your day has started off great. Do me a favor. Right away, make sure that you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the stream, or add if you're on Facebook, you can make sure and click the notify me when this person goes live. So I share these to Facebook and YouTube and Periscope. We're live. Good morning, Arthur. It's nice to see you this morning early. And so this morning I'm going to be sharing from Philippians chapter 2, verse 27. And the reason for that is because as I was reading through my Bible last night, and like I said, I got to this little bit of narrative and conversation. There's a story here that I'm going to read with you this morning titled Risking It All, and it talks about Epaphroditus. So first, let's talk about the verse. In this verse, it's actually Paul writing to Epaphroditus's home church. And, you know, the thing is, Epaphroditus risked everything to continue to bring funds and goods to Paul while he was in jail. And so he's writing back to the home church. And the verse reads, Philippians 2, verse 27 says, "And he certainly was ill. In fact, he almost died. But God had mercy on him and also on me, so that I would not have one sorrow after another." So here, Paul's referring to God's mercy, and it came in the form of healing for Epaphroditus. And the mercy was not just for the man that was providing the goods and so forth, but it was for Paul because they had become friends, right? And so I'm going to read through this. The title of this, like I said, I read each morning from the New Living Translation version of the Bible. This is titled Risking It All. And it spoke to me yesterday as I was, it's one of those where I opened my Bible up and here's the story. And I said, I got to share this. Like that's, you know, it says God calls us to put our trust in him and take a risk for his kingdom. Right now, it's so important that, you know, we are taking risks. We are having conversations. We're having sometimes tough conversations. Risking it all. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So goes an anonymous quote about risk-taking. It speaks real truth relevant to today's Christian men sitting in a comfortable church pews. Yet its wise message often gets drowned out in the hum of a safety-obsessed, secure-demanding world. A man named Epaphroditus took chances for the sake of Christ. This member of the church in ancient times delivered some funds and supplies to Paul, while the apostle languished in a Roman jail. So far as we know, Epaphroditus did no preaching, no teaching, no public evangelizing, no high-profile ministry during his trip to Rome, yet he was committed to the work of Christ. How committed to how committed to the work of Christ are you right now? He expended a great deal of energy trying to meet the apostles' needs. In the process, he came down with a serious illness. In fact, Paul wrote to the man's home church, and this is Philippians 2:27, and he certainly was ill. In fact, he almost died. God had mercy on him and also on me so that I would not have one sorrow after another. Now, if you had been in Epaphroditus' shoes, would you have risked your life to become Paul's errand boy, so to speak? Would you have chosen the dangers of long and arduous trip merely to deliver some much needed supplies, or would you have stayed home and prayed that Paul's stomach wouldn't growl too loudly? The apostle praised Epaphroditus to his friends and told them, welcome him in the Lord's love and with great joy, and give him the honor that people like him deserve. Why? Because he risked his life for the work of Christ. And he was to the point of death while doing for me what you couldn't do from far away. Risk occurs only when the outcome remains in doubt, so the danger of an undesirable result always exists. Just ask Epaphroditus, who almost died because of his risk-taking. Not all risks bring honor to God. We need to take risks wisely, but God knows the end from the beginning, and he calls us to put our trust in him and take a risk for his kingdom. So I ask you this morning, what risk are you taking? What risks do you plan to take? And it's okay for them to be calculated risks, right? Like I said, right now, and like the story says, and to relate it to right now, today. Hey, good morning, Bill. Nice to see you this morning over there on LinkedIn. So we'll often, we will say one thing, but we perform action of another. I shared this the other day when we were talking last week about praying. Something as simple as offering prayer may not seem like risk-taking, and most of the time it's not. But when we say, oh, I'll pray for you, do we take the necessary action to follow through and do what we say we will do? See, so often we live in the bubble. We're here behind the screen. I'm here behind the camera with you this morning. There's not a whole lot of risk other than the risk of judgment. And quite frankly, my concern, my only fear of judgment is from him and not from you on the other side of the camera and behind the keyboard and or our phone or wherever it is that someone may be watching this episode from. And so we sit in the comfort of our homes behind the computer and the keyboard, and we declare what should be done, but we're not always taking action in doing. And it is as important to act and to follow through, to actually take those necessary steps. If you know, Epaphroditus in this story, in the verses in the Bible, he could have said, yeah, Paul, I'll pray for you. Gosh, I hope you don't go hungry. I hope you have enough of what it is that you need. But not only did he probably pray that to himself, because as it said, he didn't evangelize. He wasn't out, openly sharing that, but he was taking necessary action. He was actually following through with something that was important to help somebody else. That is someone truly being a follower of Christ. And yes, like I said a moment ago, there are calculated risks. There is a time to plan. There's a time. I'm not saying to go be irresponsible and just go trash everything. Certainly, we're going to trash this in the name of Jesus. And that isn't how it works, right? It is important to act. It's important to minister to people one-on-one rather than just saying, oh gosh, I'll pray for you. Pick up the phone and call them, have a conversation, right? Anytime you take some action, there's some level of risk. There's the risk of judgment. There's the risk and the fear of failure. There's the risk that something may not go just as you planned. But just understand, if it doesn't go as you planned, it still probably is going to go how he planned it. So I encourage you. I'm going to reread the first line in this conversation this morning, because I think it's so important, especially right now in society, to everybody, to follow through with kindness and love and goodness and make sure that we are speaking out, and we will take on some level of risk by doing so. And it says, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So goes an anonymous quote about risk taking, but it speaks real truth to today's Christians. We need to speak up. We need to speak out. I said in one of the very first episodes of, Mornings with Mike, good morning, Joey. I said in one of the very first episodes that we're in a battle right now. We're under attack. We as Christians, we as people with morals and goodness and sometimes common sense, right? There is an attack going on. And so take some risk. Have a conversation with somebody today, right? I'm not saying you have to go speak it in masses. You can have that with one person. You can have a connection with one person, and that may make a difference. So Joey says, not taking the risk is risky. Absolutely. If you don't take the risk, there's only one outcome, and that's no outcome. So I encourage you this morning, keep this message with you today. Keep this message with you this week, spread the word, spread some kindness, take a little bit of risk, and go out on a limb for somebody outside of yourself. Right? That's one of the big messages too. When Epaphroditus was doing this, he was going far outside of himself to better somebody else and to spread the word. So thank you so much for everybody who's joining me on Monday mornings. I go live 7:15 a.m. Monday mornings for Mornings with Mike. I share stories and prayers and verses from the Bible. So I would love if you would join me and participate in that. We also now, I just started a show with my friend Matt called Friday Night Fire. Friday Night Fire, we're keeping it very faith-based. It's motivational, inspirational, and we're just having a conversation, the two of us, on how to lift each other up, lifting others up. So I would love if you would join us for that. The times are 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain, 8 Eastern for Friday Night Fire. And as I said, make sure that you like this video, share this video, subscribe on one of the channels, and I look forward to seeing you again next week, if not before that. God bless you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day and a great week.